I have a few quick tips here for snatches in particular, but also a lot of the things that I think that are so important and principal to getting techniques right in kettlebell training really go across all the movements in kettlebells, especially the ballistics. So the first thing that I want to address right now is the fact that when we're in a standing position in kettlebell work, we must be in this pelvic tilt with our abs contracting and our glutes contracting. When we do that properly every single time, we're building tension in our core, and that's providing power and stability for the movement itself. It also allows for us to engage particular muscles like the lats and be able to control that contraction and utilize that muscle correctly in these movement patterns. So for example, as I talk about the snatching, power is generated from our hips in this movement pattern, and our arm ends up overhead in a lockout position. Just jumping to the relationship here between my arm lockout and my cylinder, if I don't have that cylinder correct, there's no way I'm going to be able to have that range of motion, have that lat engagement as my shoulder is staying down, and be able to control that lockout without this cylinder being tight. So what I tell people time and time again is that you have to have this pelvic tilt, right? Glutes are tight, abs are tight. Kneecaps are driving up. We call that zipping up. So I'm zipped up on the front, zipped up on the back. What that allows is that's one strong cylinder. That's our foundation for whatever else we're going to do next. Whether I'm in rack, whether I'm swinging with the bell out here, or whether I'm snatching up overhead. That is crucial. If I lose that and I keep harping to find my lat, if I let this cylinder go, I have no control and no recruitment of the lat and a lockdown in the shoulder correctly. And so the alignment is off, the utilization of the muscles are incorrect, and therefore I'm going to go down a slippery slope for injury, possibly my shoulder or my back or both. So time and time again, when people are trying to get their technique right, whether it's a swing, a clean, a snatch, you've got to start here. You've got to look at your cylinder. What am I doing here? Am I loosey-goosey here? Is one part tight and one part loose? You've got to have both. Anteriorly, you've got to be tight here, pulled up. Posteriorly, you've got to be tight here in our lats. There's just a lot going on with the whole body, and when that's connected correctly, then these little finite details of each technique, we can start to hone in on those and get them right. But without this cylinder, I can harp for someone to pack their shoulder all day long. But if they don't have this correction here, they're not going to be able to make this work well. So that's rule number one. As you talk about the snatch, we want to reiterate the fact that power is coming from our hips. So the better we hinge here, the better we stand with contraction, that's going to make the bell pop up, and then our arm punches through and lands in a press out position overhead. One of the things that is different about snatching that is unlike the swings is that the bell is rolling around in our hand through this motion. I've got a grip on the backswing, but as I stand up, that bell's going to loosen up a little bit, the hand's going to loosen, and I'm going to punch my fist through the bell handle and come into a straight arm position with my hand open at the top. Same thing on the way down, it's going to flip inside those fingertips a little bit, come down, and then I go back through again. Elbow slightly bends on the way down as well. So if you have a tight grip on your bell, that is not going to lead to good snatch technique. In fact, you'll end up with open calluses or rips in the hand, and that's a technique issue. A lot of people think that it's, sweaty palms. That's not all true. Most of the time, it's a technique issue. So what I want to encourage people to do is understand again that this cylinder leads you to the ability to have a loose grip because you're able to meet the force of the bell and gravity with your own body tension. So if you watch me from the front, I'll just do a few from the front, a few from the side. So if I'm here, I'm going to hike that bell back. I set up, hips and shoulders are square to the front, hike, bend, punch. Bell's going to fall. I'm going to pull my hips back, bend punch. Bend punch. I'm guiding the bell close, and I'm trying to find the shortest path from there to there. I don't want to cast the bell out on the way up or down. I want to bend slightly, pull my hips back. Breathing pattern is to breathe in on the way down. Force my exhale when I straighten my legs. So I'm silent and motionless at the top of each snatch. When you get this right, you will feel very stable. You will feel that it is energy heart racing, but it's a very strength, powerful move. It's a strength move first, and everything else is secondary. So find your cylinder. Find this standing plank position. Once you find that, all the other nitty-gritty details are going to fall into place very easily compared to just trying to find one detail, correct it, and move on. You've got to have this first.